Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to be working on running some drip irrigation to a few of our containers. And before we actually start with that project, I wanted to show you, I want Aaron to show you his new organizational system for all of our drip irrigation parts, because he just figured out a new method and it's been really nice. And there are some pros and cons to every organizational system. So I thought we would show you that first because we're going to be using that in today's project. So like for example, we have this container sitting on a pillar. Right now we have to pull the hose, which is not far, so it's not a big deal, but we have to pull the hose over here and water this container when it needs it. But there is drip. There's drip irrigation all over in this flower bed. It runs right behind the boxwoods. There's a hole in the center of this pillar. So we can run drip right up through that pillar, right up into this container. So this is one of the containers we're going to work on today. I actually have a list. So these are the pots. We're going to do raised bed garden pots. So those two right over there. We're also going to be working on the black square pots in our cut flower garden right at the entrance. We actually have to pick them up and move them back a little bit, and then we'll run drip to those. The 2 honeyberry pots out in our cut flower garden, the 4 concrete pots by the loop in the south garden that we moved out from our east side fence line. The wicker pot by Incredibles, which is nearby us here. Right here, there's drip all over in this flower bed, yet I haven't taken the time to run drip into this container. Why? And the 2 wicker pots that are just like the one we just looked at up by our front entryway. We planted daffodils and blue violas in them earlier this season. So, I mean, you add all of those pots up, and in the heat of the summer, if you're dragging hoses out or filling up watering cans to water all of those pots, and there's some distance between like the cut flower garden and the ones up here by the house, that adds up to quite a bit of time. So if we get the drip system run to them early in the season, we're going to save all kinds of time. Now, drip systems are not a once and done. Those of you who have done them before know that. Sometimes they malfunction, sometimes they plug up if you have hard water. So it's something that you want to put your eyes on the containers, especially if it's like 100+ degrees. We look at our containers every day because if there's a problem, you see it pretty quickly. But we use this right here, 1/4 inch brown drip tubing. We're going to show you all the other pieces. This is the part that emits water though. Yeah, you can see the little holes right there. That's where the water comes out. I had this roll up close to the house, so I grabbed it on my way out. We're gonna head to the barn. I think Aaron is already out there kind of getting all of the parts ready. Also, I don't know what the weather's gonna do today. You see that dark cloud in the sky back there? We woke up to pouring rain, and it's rained for most of the day. It's afternoon right now, and we have a high today of 52. I think it's like might be in the 40s now. But tomorrow night we have a low of 30 degrees. And we've already started to plant annuals. So anyway, it seemed like a good day to just get this drip system thing checked off the list, because I am not planting anything new until that 30-degree night passes us by. Here it is.
You ready for this?
Yes.
The Milwaukee Pack-Out System.
Not sponsored.
No. Well, in fact, I almost kind of feel like I'm cheating on DeWalt. Because I just couldn't get a hold of, like, the DeWalt system I couldn't find locally or really online.
Do they have anything like this?
They have a system very similar to this, actually. So, but, I'm happy with this so far. I think this will work great. Yeah, so you want me to show you how it works? I do. It looks like a beast. Well, it's on a dolly, which is nice, so you can, move it around easily, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's 4, what we have is 4 units. There's some that come with 2 drawers, and then these 2 are 3-drawer units, and then this is just like a top piece. So you buy all it separately, and you can mix and mash. The cool part is there's this tab right here. You lift up on it, and it just slides out, and it becomes like all the pieces are separated, and then it just snaps back in place. So like if you wanted to take 2 pieces off, you'd lift up right here, and then you could take 2 pieces.
Right? How heavy do you think that is? I suppose it depends on what you're using it for.
It's pretty heavy. You probably are not going to want to move it around a lot, but that's
hence the dolly.
Hence the dolly. And if you're traveling, these things come out, and you can kind of lock all the drawers in place, and you can actually put a padlock on there, which is kind of cool.
There's also a skinnier size that we tried out for here, the top.
Yeah, I can grab one.
But it didn't work out for the pieces we needed quite as well.
It's too skinny, but I can show, so like this is it's clearly smaller. To open it, it's kind of a little like this. It kind of wants to close when you open it. There, it worked that time.
They're stiff. Those ones are stiff to open.
Yeah, this just isn't quite deep enough for what we're using it for, so I'm going to take this one back. It is nice if you have really small pieces. But I'll show you what the one below it is that we're actually going to keep.
Can you imagine if you're like any sort of crafter and have lots of little supplies?
Yeah.
Like super handy.
Okay, so in the top one, this is where we keep all of our 1/4 inch supplies. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh, it is a thing of beauty.
Do we just go like each section?
Sure.
And
Yep.
Okay, so in here we've got our 2 gallon per hour emitters, our 1/2 gallon per hour, 1 gallon. Here's some various stuff in here. Like this is our punch tool. Do you want me to show you how this works?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so here's the punch tool. You just take your pipe, whether it's really any size, you can put a hole in. So there's your hole, and then you can just stick an emitter.
We do this for hydrangeas. We'll have a drip line with emitter holes running by hydrangeas, but then we pop in extra emitters right by the root ball just for a little extra water for those plants that need it.
So you can put one of these in, or you can put in like a straight coupler in that hole.
Which is what we'll be doing today.
Yeah, and then you can put, a 1/4 inch line off of this. Or if you're done with that hole, let's say, you don't want this anymore, you can pop this out, and we've got these plugs too. So the plugs can go in the hole to stop any water from coming out, which is nice. Okay, so in the rest of here, we have stakes. These are really nice stakes by Rainbird. Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of stakes on the market that we hate. Well, actually, these.
Those are the worst.
These are from Home Depot.
They're trash. How do we even have those anymore?
I don't know. Well, yeah, never use these. These are terrible.
We're not worth the money at all.
No. In the middle, we've got our crimp tool, which I'll show you in a minute, I guess.
We probably don't even need this tool up here because we have one down here.
Yeah.
And we don't have crimps in this one.
Right.
Don't you think?
So
take that
probably
out.
don't need
it.
Felcos in the middle, which we use a ton. Stakes on this side, and then I kind of already showed these, but we've got tees. We don't use these very often.
No, not at all.
And then these elbows we use even less.
But you never know.
Kind of want to throw them away, but the second I do...
Yep, we'll need it.
Yep. We got our plugs in here to plug a line. And then we have our straight couplers. Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and this is what we're going to use mostly today, right? Because we're doing containers.
Right, I don't think we'll do any big stuff today.
Okay, so that's the top one.
You know what, though? If we go underneath the sidewalk up front where the conduit is to get it to both wicker pots, we might need the 1/2 inch. We can come back and get it, though, if we need it.
Okay, so below that, we have all of our 1/2 inch, or some of our 1/2 inch. Isn't that nice?
Oh, yes.
So we have the tees, which we use a lot of, which is why we have so many. Straight couplers we use, but not as much. And then these we use even less. Again, we almost don't even need to keep these in here. But again, the second we don't, we'll need them. We have elbows to end off your lines.
That would be a figure 8.
Why did I say an elbow?
I don't know, but you keep calling them elbows. So weirdest thing.
All right, well, we have 1/2 inch crimps or pinch tools. Here, give me that tool you have in your pocket. So these, you just put around your line if you want to, wherever you're using a coupler. Mm-hmm. And then you can just crimp this and it'll keep it tight.
Yeah, it crimps the, so you've got like a 1/2 inch
Well, here, I can show you.
Yeah.
So let's say you...
Wait, usually, sometimes you can get it on.
Put it on first.
Put that on first, yeah.
Well, these are kind of cold.
So this is helpful if you've got like a high pressure area or you're prone to leaks or something in a certain spot.
So put it on like that and then crimp it in place. And that's not going anywhere.
That is not going anywhere.
Also, I kind of bent it a little bit right there. But
well, that's okay.
But that's how these are used. And then we also have 3/4 inch size.
Yep.
Okay, so next drawer down, we have, a lot of this is just repeats really. It's like our backstock of the 1/4 inch supplies. I don't think we have any backstock of the couplers, the 1/4 inch couplers. Mm-hmm. But we do have a lot of backstock of a lot of the other stuff that I showed you in here.
Because sometimes, like today, mostly we'll just be taking this one on its own. But sometimes, like I had just this unit out in the cut flower garden with me the other day, and that's all I needed. I didn't need this one too.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think this process will kind of evolve and refine, I guess.
Yeah,
over
we'll
time.
probably move stuff around. Mm-hmm. We've got like more punch tools.
What's that?
This one
is that
for
punch tool?
Yeah, it is. It's for
drip tape.
Drip tape. Yep. And then just some random, like Rainbird for sprinklers, and here's another punch tool for 1/4 inch.
That looks ergonomic.
It is ergonomic.
That's important.
Okay, and then one more down. These are some of our 3/4 supplies. So like these, we actually use a lot of these because this is 3/4 and this is 3/4 and then this is 1/2 inch. So we will have a 3/4 inch supply line and we'll tee into it with a 1/2 inch line. So this is actually a common thing that we use. We've got like 3/4 inch plugs here, which is the same, essentially the same as a figure 8, but for 3/4.
Ooh, washers and stuff.
Yeah, but this starts to just kind of turn into random supplies at this point. You know, here's some couplers. These are actually 1/2 inch.
But there's stuff that you need, like along the way. You
Yeah.
just run into one random part you need.
Yeah, so then we buy more. And then it gets even more random the farther down we go. So here's more 3/4 inch. There's some 1/2 inch supplies in here too, but things that we just don't use very often. Like these are swing pipe for sprinklers, but like we need them every once in a while. Rarely, but these are 3/4 inch tees. Really just kind of a bunch of random stuff in here that we've used at some point and bought extras. Looks like these are 3/4 inch tees or elbows. This is a 3/4. Yeah, this is all just random stuff. Like I don't even know the names, you know, but this is like 3/4 inch thread.
And this is opposite. So this one will, yeah.
Like you could put these together. Not that you ever would.
No.
But
we've needed them in the past, and that's why we have them. Because typically when we find ourselves in need, we buy like 5.
yeah.
Because we'll inevitably need one later on.
Caps we use a lot. You know, like if we hit a line that has active water, we'll turn off our water and then we'll put a cap on it and then we can turn our water back on. And it'll just, that line will have a cap on it until Benny can come out and like do a fix. Or if it's easy enough for us to do a fix, but we do use caps a lot.
Here's my hose to 1/4 inch adapters for the vegetable garden, the raised beds.
And then these last 2 drawers, there's a bunch of PSI, 10 PSI, 15 PSI. These are things that we bought for the cut flower garden. Just some miscellaneous supplies.
It just looks so neat.
Yeah.
And tidy.
These are nice to have if you need a shut-off valve somewhere. Then this last drawer.
Oh, that looks familiar.
Yeah,
I've used those before.
These are nice. These are like for repairing breaks in your line. So I can demonstrate. Let's say like, imagine this is your break right here.
Boom, shovel hit.
Can you hold these?
Right there.
Can you hold one of them? Yeah.
Yep.
So what you would do is you'd put this on this side like this, and then you'd put this on that side like that, and then you put this in like this, put that in like that,
and screw those.
And then screw them together. And then now this is the wrong size, obviously. But if it was the correct size, that's, you know, how it would.
That's an easy fix without glue.
Yeah.
You could dig a big old hole. Whenever you have to use one of those, you have to dig a big hole.
Then we got a PVC cutter, which
well loved.
Yeah, geez. You can cut your PVC pipe.
And glues.
And glue.
Also, I don't know if you showed on the back, Aaron, but on the back of this dolly, there's little cubbies too, so you can carry around like sizes of PVC that maybe you have.
So that's the system. So far, it's working really well. These are the only 2 that we take. So like Paul often or myself will grab these 2, we'll put them on a gator, and like these 2 have 98% of what we use, and everything else is like that 2%. You know, just like. Every once in a while you need it.
So that is the organizational system for now. I just thought that you guys might enjoy seeing that because while my mind doesn't really think that way, I love and appreciate to have things organized and like tidy like that because it makes jobs so much quicker when you know where to find the parts and the pieces. And I know a lot of you guys appreciate organizational, I don't know, ideas, I guess. So now we're going to go out and try to tackle this list of drip issues in the garden. So I think we should maybe just go ahead and load both of them up.
Okay.
We'll grab some 1/2 inch tubing and 1/4 inch tubing.
Boom.
We're going to start with these 2 pots right in front of the vegetable garden, which I honestly shouldn't have even included in the list because I forgot. There's drip already run. It just isn't in the pots. So we have the daffodils that we transplanted from behind the Hartley and some lettuce and violas, and we've been hand watering up to this point. Here's the drip. It's just been laying on the ground next to him. So typically I like to go up underneath the container through the drainage hole, and then you can't see any of the tubing. But since the fence is black here, this black tubing you don't really notice. So you've got a supply line here already coming up. There's a 1/4 inch coupler right here. And then we've got black 1/4 inch that has emitter holes about every 9 inches it looks like. So there's an emitter hole here, and then one right here. You'll find it in both black and brown. And in some other colors sometimes, like I know Proven Winners has like white and cream colored, but theirs doesn't have emitter holes. You have to run the little individual emitters with theirs. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be swapping these out here really soon. As soon as it warms up enough, we'll be putting our annuals in here. Like, that was so easy. Why didn't I do that earlier? Can you see it up front there a little bit? Probably grab a staple. That way I can just tack this down right in here to keep it all nice and tight so it doesn't flop out. Okay. Here's the second one. This is much easier to do when the plants aren't as big. Okay, done with the first two. Oh my word. Hopefully we can get more of these done. The weather is kind of starting to act up a bit. Oh, got the heavier coat on.
Yes.
We're gonna do the wicker pot next over there. There's drip tube that runs right by it. So what we're gonna need is our punch tool, some landscape staples. I'll probably do like 3 of those, 2 couplers. No, yes, 2 couplers, and then an ender. Some of this and some of our black supply line right here. That should do it. So for this one, there is drip tubing nearby, and I'm gonna try to find it hopefully right behind the pot so we don't see the tubing. I'm gonna pick my way through here. Whew, it's kind of thick. I don't know if we're gonna even be able to see what's going on down here. See that right there? You can see where we put in another emitter for the hydrangea that's sitting here. So I'm gonna put a hole right here, and then our emitter, and then our 1/4 inch tubing, which I probably should have put on this emitter, or this coupler rather, before I put it in the tube. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we just want a piece long enough to kind of come up over the side of this container, like right here. Cut it. So then we use our 1/4 inch coupler, put that right into the supply line. Then we attach our drip tubing. Like that. This one's going to be a little bit of a beast to thread around the trellis and all the plants. I don't think I need to have it this long. I need probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 emitters. Don't you think that's enough?
Yeah.
Also, Aaron was mentioning to me that it's possible we may be moving this pot here fairly soon, which is, he's probably right. I mean, you can see the sidewalk here. We're going to be taking out this piece here as well, and the stuff that Aaron's standing on to make way for a new brick patio / walkway. So anyway, that's okay. It's likely it'll be put back here. We'll just cap the drip when we move it and then use it again later. Oh, I did it. Huh, that worked. I just fed it right underneath the trellis and just kind of pushed it in, and it naturally went in a circle around the base of the trellis. Hooray, that doesn't normally happen to me. Pillar next. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna take the pot off first and find the drip line that's closest to the pillar, tap into that and bring it up through the bottom. And then Aaron went to go find a stake, because I'm gonna pop a stake down through kind of the root balls of these plants through the drain hole so that I can hopefully draw the drip tubing up through the container so that we don't have to have any tubing coming out. It would get pinched, you know, because the pot's bigger than that hole right there. It would get pinched and that would be no good. So anyway, here we go. Hopefully this is smooth. Do you guys see that brown spider down in there, that shiny one? That's a male black widow. It's like the one thing we have to watch for in our area, and they like dark spots where people don't, like, they're not going to come after you. They want to be in dark spots where people aren't messing with them. So the females are the black with the red hourglass on their tummies. So anyway, we're going to be careful not to stick our hands down in that pillar. Ooh, we usually find them in irrigation boxes everywhere. They like damp too. Gross. So I've got an emitter on the end of our supply line. We're just going to feed this through without getting our hand in there. Okay, we did it. We are free moving. That's what you want to make sure. I dug out a little bit on this side because the pillar does, hey Russell, the pillar does go down into the mulch quite a ways. So you just want to make sure that whatever you're running it through isn't pinching it once it hits the ground level. So I just hollowed out a little section right there. So we should be good. Careful, Russell. Oh, it's a cat parade. See, he's much lighter color, Aaron, than Russell. See that, everybody? That's a difference. Okay, here's our drip tube. Perfect. It's like it never happened. Now we got to get it up through the other container, which Aaron brought this thing. What is that? A light rod?
This is a glow rod.
Glow rod? Okay, well. Okay, so the drip tube is coming out, thank you, Aaron, from the center of the pillar. And then we've taped the drip tube to the bottom of this glow rod, which we already popped up through the container. So we're really hoping that it easily
comes right through.
Oh, it came through. Yay. Okay, so if you pull it a little bit more, Aaron, so there's not, yes, perfect. Oh.
There you go.
Yay! That is so awesome. Okay, we're going to center this a little bit. Now I just need to fix the top.
You cut that?
Yeah. Okay, so that container's done. You can see where the black tubing couples into the brown. I need to tuck that in a little bit better. That's where a landscape staple might be helpful. But honestly, once the plants grow in a little more, you really won't be able to see it. And there are only 3 emitter holes for this container because we do run this zone for quite a long time and I don't want it to get too wet. So anyway, super happy with that. And we are actually going to take a short break. Hopefully it's just a short break, but the wind is starting to pick up a little bit more and it's starting to rain. It does look like that storm is right over the top of us and it might end here in a little while. But it's possible we might come out and finish this video in the morning if it's better tomorrow. So anyway, see you guys in a minute. It's a new day and it's a glorious one. The sun is out, the wind is not blowing, cool temperature, perfect working temperature. So we're just gonna pick up where we left off. I also forgot one set of pots, the group of pots that flank our greenhouse doors. We need to get those hooked back up to drip as well. We're starting up here in front of the house. Aaron's already starting to dig at the moment. Yes. So we're going to run drip to these 2 wicker containers. Now we're just about ready to swap out for summer plants, but it'll be nice to have the drip in place kind of like while we're at it and have all the supplies out. So what Aaron's doing right now is he is digging up. Do you see the pin?
No, I don't see the pin on this side.
Well, it probably it lines right up with this hole.
So
did you find it?
I bought these pins on Amazon that are metal, and we had Benny run a pipe underneath the brick walkway so that we could run drip or things, or electrical. Maybe you want to put some lights or something.
Right. Now the drip for this flower bed will most likely originate over here. Am I wrong or right in that? Is it going to originate here?
Yes.
So once we actually set up drip, because we have no drip in this area yet, we'll probably hook that pot up to this zone. But for now, since we have drip here, it is so nice that we can tap into it, run it to this container, just run a tube right underneath the sidewalk and up into that pot. Aaron, your forethought and planning are top notch. So now he just needs to find where that conduit comes out. I think you're right about in the right spot. How do you like that little shovel there?
It's not great.
Makes less of a mess though.
Yeah, is this right?
We need to dig up these tulips too.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh good.
Oh, and the pin was down there.
Just got buried under some compost, looks like. So we did bring out some black poly, 1/2 inch. That's what will go underneath the sidewalk here. And you can see the brown drip right here, kind of popping up out of the mulch. That's where we will connect in. We'll probably just swing black poly from here all the way over here underneath the sidewalk and then kind of swing it to the back side of this container. And then we will tee off of the black poly like when it runs by this pot and pop a drip up in there. Same over here. I hope that makes sense. So here we go. right, these are done. And you can really not even tell where the drip is unless you look at the back side of the container. So we tapped in right there, ran the black poly, under the sidewalk, and I teed in right in this area here into the black poly, and then brought this 1/4 inch up over the side. Now, ideally, we would be running this up underneath the container, which I will do when we do our swap out of plants, which is not very far off. We use a lot of landscape staples to kind of help tack things down. And then I didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to feed this 1/4 inch brown around these plants just because they'll be coming out fairly soon. So the black poly comes out over here, and I ended it right in this area here with a figure 8 ender. Can't even see it. And then that's where the drip goes up the back. Oh, I love it.
Well done.
Yay. Well, this is a happy day.
Yeah.
These 2 pots have already been hooked into drip and I didn't even realize it. So these are honeyberries that we planted last year and they are just doing phenomenally well. You can already see a bunch of berries starting to form. So exciting. So we have 1/2 inch black poly that originates on that corner and then over here on that corner, and then it runs along the front of each one of these quadrants, and then we run drip tape and things like that off of them. So right at the end here, you can see the drip that comes out the bottom of the pot. It comes over and it just taps right into that line. And then you can see that there is already the 1/4 inch on the top. And the soil is moist. I've been supplementally watering these.
Are you serious?
I don't know how long they've been hooked on to drip, but maybe that's why they're doing so well. Yay. Okay, well, we've got to do these 4 containers over here and the 2 big black square ones up here. So all 4 of these came from the east fence line. We moved them out this spring when we were prepping the area over there for a new flower bed. All 4 of these had different boxwoods than the other 10 that we left over there. So I had sprinters in these on the very far end, and they actually didn't look very good when I dug them out. They had spider mites really bad. And so we treated those. I don't think they had spider mites anymore, but I think they were just a little bit too far down the road, and they may have shocked a little bit when we transplanted them. They did look different, these 4 at the end of the whole line of 14 that we had there. So I thought, well, it's kind of perfect. We can move those 4 out, keep the winter gems over there in the remaining 10 pots and just see how these did, but they never came out of whatever it was that they had going on, and one of them completely died. So anyway, we decided to remove all of them and start fresh, probably with something different. We won't do boxwoods in these. And so we really they already have drip run up through the bottom of the container. They have the 1/4 inch brown on the top. We just need to tap in to the drip in these flower beds, which there is drip. So for example, you can see the pot here, there's drip line right here. And then if we take a look, there's already 1/4 inch brown, and then it comes out the bottom right here. So we just need to make sure it's not pinched on the bottom, and we need to connect this to that. All right, these are done. We'll get them all leveled up and topped up with soil and all that when we get ready to actually plant them. But the drip is functioning and set up. So nice. So Aaron, you can maybe hear it. He's getting the tractor there behind the orchard fence, and we are going to move these containers a little bit, and then we'll get the drip set up on those. Okay, so real quick before we actually move these. So right now, these containers are kind of sitting out in the pathway that we're going to seed with grass. Maybe not this year, but that is the plan. There are sprinklers installed. In fact, there is a sprinkler right here. So what we did, instead of running the supply line for water along the whole edge of this quadrant, we stopped it here and put an elbow and brought it in like this so that we could still feed this row with water, but it would allow us enough room to tuck the pot into the planting area, because I love having these here. It really indicates the spot, like the opening, but we can't have them out in the pathway. So anyway, that's the plan. And then we will tap in to this line to bring drip up the side. All right, so they've both been moved in. That is going to be so nice. It'll be so nice when we can seed grass right here. They'll be out of the way, yet we still have something to mark the entrance of the flower garden. So they just fit perfectly within that little drip kind of square. So what we did was tapped in on the back, just like with the others, ran a 1/4 inch black up the side, which for these, we don't try to run it up the drain hole because it's just such an enormous pot. We just run it up the back, and this is going to be so full of flowers. Hopefully, at some point this season, you won't really notice that. And then once we get into the pot, right in here, it turns into the brown drip tubing, and then it just weaves around the plants in here. Last up are the greenhouse pots. Okay, so we've got a lot going on around the front of the greenhouse at the moment. I have some seedlings hardening off. I had to cover them last night because it got down below freezing. But these are the pots that we need to set up. Now at this point, we already did a video last spring where we set all of them up initially. So you can see, like if I go over here, you can see the water supply line that we buried. So it goes underneath the gravel here and it goes up and feeds all of these pots. In fact, if I don't shade it, you can kind of see where all of the 1/4 inch spiders off of that supply line, and then they go into like up underneath all of these pots, and then if we get in close, you can see the 1/4 inch already run. And earlier this spring when I planted these up, I did do some drip repair. I added a little bit more 1/4 inch. So it's all set in the pots. We just have to get it connected back to where the water comes from. And that is right over here. See where the 1/2 inch is cut? We had to cut that when we ran the new tracks for the heated greenhouse. So what we need to do is clear the plants out. I got a few plants over here that we still haven't planted. They're gorgeous though, look at this. This is a red cone Norway spruce. Look at all that soft new growth and the new little pine cones, how cute. Anyway, we're gonna have to scoot these out, dig a little hole underneath, and then into the greenhouse. Let me go in there. Are you already sizing it up in here?
Yeah.
This is where the metal track is. We'll put the hole underneath from outside and then bring in the tubing, which will then come to the faucet. And Aaron's got all the parts that get attached to the faucet. So if you are running a drip system from your hose faucet,
this is what it would look like if you were doing it properly. So you've got your timer, and then you've got a backflow preventer, and these are directional. So like, see that?
I don't know if it's going to,
well,
there's a little arrow right there.
There's an arrow that points down, so you cannot put that on backwards. Otherwise you'll run into issues. This is an adapter to go from hose thread to pipe thread, which is really confusing, but it's a thing. Like your hose has hose thread, but most of your irrigation supplies are on pipe thread. So most of the time you need an adapter to go from one to the other. They sell them. I mean, this is like a little orbit adapter. So this goes from hose thread to pipe thread. And then this is a 25 PSI filter. And it's got, you know, you can clean this thing out.
What it looks like. Oh, not bad.
Not too dirty.
No.
But this will grab particulates, and so you want to probably clean this out. You know, just check it maybe once a month, see if it's dirty. You may clean it out once a year.
Particulates? I've never heard that word.
Particulates or particulates?
I don't know.
Is there an N on there?
I don't know, but that sounds so like fancy.
Well, there you go. So there's that, and then just an adapter because this is the type of. Well, here, I'll pull this off. It's just like adapter after adapter after adapter. But like, this is the one that we had. So this, you know, goes from 3/4 inch, or is this? Yeah, this is 3/4 inch to our 1/2 inch poly pipe. And so because this is a male and not a female, I had to get 2 females to go on the end of this. So you basically just have to stand at all the irrigation stuff and just buy all the parts that you need to make your configuration.
Basically, you need to go from 3/4 inch hose thread to 1/2 inch poly pipe.
But it is correct to do the backflow preventer and the filter.
And that's the regulator.
And the 25 PSI.
And then you don't have to have a timer, but sure makes it handy. If you go to the trouble of running drip, like, put it on a timer.
Yeah.
But like I said, we did do a video. The door's about to slam. Hold on. I'm going to get this all propped open. We did do a video last spring when we initially set this whole thing up, and I showed you each individual part and then put it together. So if you want to see that a little bit slower, maybe a little bit more explanation, probably not. Aaron knows more about irrigation supplies than I do, but we'll link that video down below if you want to see it. But all we have to do is couple into that 1/2 inch black poly in here and bring it into the greenhouse so that we can attach it to the bottom of that cluster of parts. real quick, you can see down here how the black poly attaches to the blue coupler and then goes down into an elbow so that there wasn't any kink or anything in the line. Oh, you're setting the whole thing.
Yeah, why not? Okay, start time, 8:15 a.m. That's fine. For 45 minutes? That's a long time.
Yeah.
For like the heat of the summer, that might be okay.
Yeah, maybe start with like 15 minutes. We can gauge it.
Okay, 15 minutes. How often?
Every day.
Every day. Run.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay.
Just do it, yeah. You need to turn the faucet on probably.
I think it is on.
Is it? Oh, we need to turn this one off. Can you turn that off? Yeah. Okay, so it should be running, right?
Should be.
Look at that. Yes. So now it's just a matter of going to every individual pot and making sure that water is dripping out of these tubes. Now this piece of drip tubing has just been so unruly. Let's see. There we go. If it works all the way up to this one, then we are golden. Yep, it sure does. Do you have any drip irrigation wisdom?
Not really. It's kind of like a trial by fire thing, I feel like. And also, I think it's okay to know where you should start and where you should stop when it comes to drip. Like, I won't tackle running like the valves, you know, like the zones, and tying it into the sprinkler system. I let Benny do that. You and I run the drip to the pots and
surface level
stuff. So I think it's just knowing yourself and knowing where you want to start and where you want to stop and like what to hire out and what not to, because it's expensive, the hourly rate, you know, that irrigation guys charge.
Yes, it
so
is.
if you can just have them stop at the point where it's like, well, just get me a line to here and I can run the rest, you know, that's kind of,
it saves a lot.
It saves a lot, yeah, and I prefer doing that. So that's, I guess, my only advice is like, know where to start and stop.
That's good advice. And that is going to be it for today's project. Well, actually yesterday in today's project, technically. I'm super happy to have all of those things checked off the list. That's the best part. I love making lists of all those things that are taking time out in the garden. And if you can even check one of those things off every day, trying to make your process more efficient and save you time, by the end of the summer, just think of like cumulatively how many hours you can save. It's pretty significant when you start adding it up. And I hope it was helpful just seeing how we run drip to some of our containers, the pieces and parts, because that is half the battle. Half the battle is having all of the things that you need on hand when you start a project like this. And it took us a long time to figure it out. So if you're just starting out with drip and you're getting frustrated because you have to go back to the store 2 or 3 times because you don't have the right thing, we were there once. We did that too. And it took a while to figure out what works the best and what doesn't work the best and all of those things. So I hope that by seeing ours, it might help you skip some of those steps and get you closer to maybe the finish line of having what you need and knowing how to do it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.